Feeling wintry? Well, get your onesie on, get nice and furry, get cozy, grab a cup of tea, and we're going to be doing a yin practice for the lung meridian. So I'll tell you about the lung meridian once we actually get moving. So find yourself, you don't need a yoga mat if you've got somewhere cozy to sit on, but get whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to start in this crisscross position. And we're just going to take a nice deep breath into the heart and chest area, breathing in and stretching out and shaking it out. Letting that go. Scooping up anything in the chest and heart that wants easing and release through the hands. And breathing in again. And releasing through the hands. Good job. We're going to just come into a spinal twist. Breathing deeply here. So the lung meridian, keep breathing, is the area that we really focus on when we're in the winter, when we go into that period in autumn, turning into winter and throughout the winter. And you might be feeling it already, but the impulse in the winter is really to kind of collapse and curl in on ourselves. We don't tend to walk with proud, open chests. And then just releasing that, we tend to crunch in, really restricting the lungs and our breathing. We might not even want to breathe in the air that much because it's so cold. So by doing these kind of practices, we really nourish the lungs, and we need to nourish them in the winter because we want them to be strong to fight off colds and coughs. Keep breathing. And some people love the winter, but most people find it challenging. We do tend to favor spring and summer. Let's come into a side stretch. Really focusing on the side ribs and the side of the lungs as you do this. And the lung meridian in Chinese medicine is also the place where we hold sadness and grief. And just flow through the middle. And physiologically, when we hold ourselves in those kind of shut down postures, it actually really affects our mood. You've probably experienced this before. So again, by doing these lung opening and releasing exercises, by opening and releasing the chest, we give ourselves that permission to feel any of those feelings of sadness, and through the breath, just releasing it a bit. One more breath here, good. And then we'll just come to the center, and we're just gonna be in a prayer pose. We're gonna have a nice deep breath in. And then breathing out, piercing through. Breathing in, opening up. Breathing out, offering up, head comes up, breathing in, receiving. We'll do a couple more rounds here. Breathing out, piercing through, facing reality as it is, opening up, open to this moment. Breathing out, offering up to a greater wisdom. Breathing in, receiving that wisdom. Breathing out, piercing through our judgments, our beliefs, opening up to reality. Breathing out, offering it up to higher wisdom, and breathing in and receiving. Good job. So we're going to come into a cat-cow here, and I'm a perfect cat in my leopard onesie. So here we're going to just do a couple of rounds of cat-cow, nice arched back, breathing in, and then bowing the back, breathing out, breathing in, and then out, Good job. And then we're going to come into a child's pose, and we're just going to really, if you can, come into a wide-legged child's pose. That's the easiest for this, but if that's harder, then just bring your knees together, you pick. We're going to extend out, nice stretch in the arms. We're just going to hang out here for a while. As you're stretching here, you'll feel this a lot in your, where do you feel it? Just notice. So I'm feeling it in my shoulders, in my hips, and I'm also aware of a very relaxed and squishy belly. And I'm also on purpose imagining that breath coming all the way to the back of my lungs as well. And then I'm going to make little tents with my hands here. And I'll just, that should make you feel a little bit more in the shoulder area. 3 breaths here. And then from here, I'm going to come into this melting heart position. So I'm lifting my bum off my calves, and I'm just going to come forward here, and that should feel really nice in the upper back. And again, while we're doing this, we're really imagining this opening in the heart area, as well as in the lungs. And if you find this is a little jarring on the neck, just adjust your head so it isn't. Some people actually like doing this pose on their chins for opening also in the throat area. This I find too intense for my neck, so I'm going to put my forehead down. But if you like it that way, go for it. And again, melting heart, so imagine this heart area just melting, melting, and melting. Two more breaths here. Good job. And then we're just going to flow from child pose into cobra, back into child, and you take this in the rhythm that feels right for you. You might want to take it really slow, or you might like to feel more of a flow. You pick. But again, really bringing that attention on the breath, on the lungs. And as we begin to descend in the winter, how is this going to be a really good one? How are you going to make it work? What little practices can be in place to just keep you feeling okay? What's the gift of this time even? What's the gift? And how can we nourish the areas that can suffer, like our lungs, during this time? Now from here, we're just going to come down, and we're going to just widen our elbows. And we're going to make little tents with our hands again, and we're going to come up. And then we're going to come down on one ear, one shoulder, crocodile pose. And then coming up. And other side. And up, and other side, and up, and other side, and up, and other side. Good. And then from here, we're going to come into a nice opening for our arms. I'm just going to scooch over so you can see me. I'm going to extend one arm out. I'm on my belly. And then I'm going to get my top leg and I'm going to curl it round. And then I'm going to just hang out. I can even have my head down. I'm going to hang out here and I should feel a nice opening in that shoulder. I can play with the leg a little bit. If I want a little bit of a psoas opening, I can pull the leg back. I can feel a little back bend in the back if I want more intensity. I could also bring that top arm round my back. And we're going to hang out here for about 2 minutes. And as you're lying here, just notice where you're feeling this in your body. So I can definitely very intensely feel it in my shoulder, but I'm also feeling the invitation in my front body, particularly in my chest, to expand, to stretch. I'm also feeling that in my psoas. So I'm using my breath to really help expand even further. We'll have 3 more breaths here. And then we'll just slowly, gently unwind. Ooh, feel the difference from one side to the other. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the other arm is extended out, the top leg is going to come back. If we want, we can pull it even further back, letting our heads just lie on the floor. And if we want, we could also bring that other arm behind us. And again, I can feel this really strongly in my shoulder, but I also feel this invitation in this line here from my chest all the way to my psoas. So I'm bringing my breath into there as well. All of us, me included, even if we do yoga a lot, I would say breathing is such a challenge. To remember to breathe deeply and calmly, something we all seem to find challenging. So it's so good when we take times to just do it a bit more with a bit more consciousness. And it really does have such a good effect on our nervous systems. It's so good for us. Also just oxygenating all of our cells and increasing our lung capacity. How deeply we breathe is really like how much life are we willing to take in. It can be hard to take life in sometimes depending on what's happening. And so we just begin with practices like this to increase that capacity more and more. Okay, we'll have 3 more breaths here. Good, and then we'll just undo that. And then just coming onto our sides. Before we sit up, we're finishing our practice very soon. We're just going to have a moment just in this fetal position, such a comforting position to be in. And just let some big sighs out. Notice how you feel. Notice how your lungs feel. And then we'll just slowly come up, back up to sitting. Ooh. And just rock a little bit side to side. And then placing your hands on the area of your body that you've just been working, rubbing your hands together. And if you could slather your body in something that would be helpful for you today, just think of what that might be. So for me, it's gonna be relaxation. So I'm gonna have this relaxation gel or lotion, let's say. Don't really do gel anymore. And then smother it all over. Smother it all over. Taking that in. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. Keep cozy, keep warm, keep those lungs open and expanded.